Leclerc, penalty for fighting. Penalty time, 1 minute.
Wow, Joe. If Tommy Leclerc gets kicked off the ice once more, the Raiders are going to be in big trouble.
I know, Frank. This is their last chance to make the playoffs, and they need Leclerc to win.
He'll be back on the ice in 30 seconds. Let's hope he can stay on this time. By the way, is Dad going to be here tonight?
He said something about a meeting with the president of the hockey league here at the arena. That's how we got the tickets to this game.
Did he say what the meeting was about?
It has something to do with security during the Cup finals.
Maybe that means some action for us.
I hope so, brother. It's been quiet for too long.
Penalty time over. Leclerc may resume play.
Okay, let's go, Tommy.
Time out.
I wonder why they needed to call time.
Look, Frank, over in the penalty box.
I wonder what all the commotion's about.
Look, across the aisle. Dad is heading for the penalty box.
Joe, I don't see Tommy Leclerc anywhere.
But there's no way out of the penalty box, except onto the ice.
Then there's only one answer. What? Leclerc has disappeared into thin air.
Frank and Joe rush down to the penalty box, where they join their father, world-famous detective Fenton Hardy.
Hi, Dad. What happened to Leclerc?
It's very mysterious, boys. He never came out of the penalty box.
Where did he go?
I'll need your help to find that out. This is Mr. Lucas, the league president. He wants us to solve this case as soon as possible. The playoffs start Saturday.
This is happening all too fast, Dad.
I know, Frank. That's one of the things that intrigues me about this instant case.
I hope you can solve it right away, Mr. Hardy. We can't hold up the playoff season on account of this.
Don't worry, Mr. Lucas. You've got the very best investigative team in the country working for you.
Then tell me, where is Tommy Leclerc?
Later that evening, after the crowd has emptied out of the arena, Frank and Joe Hardy are working late with their father, trying to unravel the disappearance of hockey star Tommy Leclerc.
He vanished from the penalty box. There could be no other way.
We've been looking for hours, Dad. No trapdoors, no secret panels. I'm stumped.
The part that I can't figure out is that everybody was watching. The booth is enclosed with plexiglass. The entire crowd could see him.
You may be on the right track, Joe.
How?
We know he didn't go back on the ice, and we haven't been able to find any secret exits through the floor. Frank, Joe, let's check the side panels.
What are we looking for?
Check for hinges, taped edges, a split seam, anything that might indicate a doorway.
Dad. Frank, look at this.
A zipper on the vinyl seam in the paneling.
Good work, Joe. You may have the answer.
It opens into the front row seats.
And that's how he did it. He slipped into the crowd.
But wouldn't the fans recognize him? After all, he was wearing that bright blue and yellow uniform.
And don't forget his skates. Walking on those two blades is difficult if you're off the ice.
Then how did he get away?
I think when we know why, we will find out how.
But what motive could there be?
It's got to be connected with the Cup playoffs.
Why, Joe?
Without Leclerc, the Raiders don't stand a chance.
But who wants them to lose?
Why, the other teams, of course.
But not enough to kidnap an opposing player.
I think we've done enough work for one night. Let's start out fresh in the morning.
Early the next day, Frank and Joe Hardy are on their way to see League President Lucas.
I'm glad we decided to buy these bikes.
It sure makes getting around easier.
How far do we have to go?
Only a few miles up the coast road.
It sure is narrow for a 2-lane highway. And that drop, it must be a good 200 feet down to water.
It's not the place to take your eyes off the road.
Joe, look out! That guy is on the wrong side of the road. He's going to hit us.
Bail out, Frank! Bail out!
Joe, are you all right? Joe, say something!
I think I'm okay. Nothing broken. How are you?
I'm fine, but there's nothing left of the bikes.
What happened?
Yours is over there, and there, and there.
Oh, brother. It looks like a piece of abstract sculpture. What happened to your cycle?
At the bottom of the ocean. I lost control and took your advice. Bailed out. Good thing I was wearing this leather jacket. It saved my skin. But my bike went over the edge.
I guess we'd better start walking. Did you get a license number on that car?
He didn't hang around long enough. Not even to help.
Do you think it wasn't an accident?
That possibility occurred to me, and the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that he was trying to hit us on purpose.
But why? Who could it be?
I didn't get a chance to see the driver.
Neither did I. The car was coming on too fast.
I've got a feeling, though, someone doesn't want us working on this case.
Back at the Hardy home.
And you weren't able to get a description of the driver.
He was going too fast, and we had to move quickly.
Joe's right, Dad. We can't remember a thing.
Did you look at him, even a glance?
Yes, for a moment.
Then we might be able to piece something together. Assuming this man was aiming his car at you boys, this can be the major lead in the case.
All I can remember is a dark shadow behind the wheel.
But it was a big shadow, and the driver's window was rolled down.
Think hard, fellas. Was he wearing a hat?
I don't think he even had hair.
Yes, he did have hair, but
Yes, Joe, what is it?
his hair was in a funny style, as if he had only a half a head of hair covering the back of his head.
And his face was dark. I couldn't make out any of his features.
What does that all add up to, boys?
No features, no frontal hair. Why, of course!
A mask! He was wearing a mask. Then he was after us.
You know what kind of mask that was, Frank? I'll bet it was a hockey goalie's mask. They covered the entire face, including the forehead.
So we have stumbled onto something. Someone doesn't want us to see Mr. Lucas.
But why?
I think you fellas should find out. Only this time, take the car, and please be careful.
Later, the Hardy boys arrive at Mr. Lucas's house without incident.
I don't think he's home.
We called. He should be expecting us.
His car's in the garage. Joe, look in the other stall.
That's the car that forced us off the road.
Let's take a look around.
Do you think that man in the mask could be holding Mr. Lucas?
Well, I don't know about that, but he's been here.
You there! Halt! Stop or I'll shoot!
Joe, get down! Joe! Joe, are you hit?
Yeah, my leg. I think it's only a graze, though.
I think we'd better get you to the hospital. There goes our mystery car.
And driver.
At the city hospital emergency room,
Joe, are you okay?
Sure, Dad. Just a flesh wound. The doctor says I'll be able to walk out of here in an hour.
He was lucky, Dad. The shotgun pellets grazed his ankle. It looked a lot worse than it really was.
I'm relieved to hear that. But you boys are not going back to Lucas's house on your own.
This time reinforcements would come in handy.
Do you have any idea who shot at you, Joe?
We were walking towards the garage. Our backs were to him. He yelled to halt and just started shooting.
We hit the ground. By the time we got up, the car was speeding away.
What car?
We found the car that tried to run us off the road in Lucas's garage. After the shooting, it was gone.
Things are beginning to fall into place.
How's that, Dad?
I've been checking up on Lucas and Tommy Leclerc. It seems that Lucas asked Leclerc to move from the Raiders to another team. He even offered Tommy a larger salary.
But Leclerc is the Raiders' top scorer. Without him, they don't stand a chance in the playoffs.
That's what I can't figure out. Why Lucas wants the Raiders out of the finals.
I think we had better find Mr. Lucas and ask him some questions.
But I don't want you boys going out to his house. I'm going there with the police. Besides, Joe could use a rest.
Please, Dad.
I'm afraid not, men. Twice you've been thwarted from getting to Lucas. I don't want you to take any more chances.
Dad, does it look like a kidnapping now?
There's been no ransom note delivered for Tommy Leclerc. But based on the information we have, it sure looks that way.
after leaving the hospital, the Hardy boys drive through town on the way home.
You know, there's something wrong about this business.
I know what you mean. Most of the cases we work on show some positive results after a while. But I have nothing to go on.
I keep getting the feeling that's the answer.
What's the answer?
Well, from the very beginning, this situation has been twisting and reversing on us. First, Leclerc vanishes in front of thousands of people. Next, we're stopped from seeing Lucas on 2 separate occasions. And
Lucas knew we were coming both times.
remember what Dad said about Lucas wanting Tommy to be traded to a different team?
Yeah?
That's got to be the motive for his disappearance.
You mean for his kidnapping?
I'm not so sure
Not sure of what?
that Tommy Leclerc was kidnapped.
If Tommy Leclerc wasn't kidnapped, then where did he go?
The question is why, Joe? Just what Dad had on his mind in the beginning.
Okay, Tommy doesn't want to be traded. But why pull the disappearing act?
I think we'll ask him.
When we find him.
I think I know where to go. You feeling up to a visit with Tommy Leclerc?
You bet. The hockey arena.
This place is a maze underneath the stands. Locker rooms, business offices, exercise rooms. He's got to be here.
Let's check it out.
Did you bring your flashlight?
Yeah, in my pocket.
I think we'll need it. This place is as dark as a dungeon.
Let's look for the main power supply.
That might tip off Leclerc or his friends, Joe. Just stick with the flashlight.
I think we must be directly under the ice.
Yeah, those are the pipes which feed the coolant to the rink.
Frank, look, over there, by the pipes.
It's a room. Careful, Joe. We don't want the same reception we had at Lucas's house.
No, this time I will not miss.
The lights! They're so bright!
The better to see you with, my young friends.
Mr. Lucas!
And friend.
Look, Frank, the man in the mask.
I'll bet Tommy Leclerc is behind that mask.
No use in keeping my face behind that dreadful thing, huh?
Then you were the driver of the car.
Yes, but you will never live to tell anyone.
Okay, you boy wonders, get your hands up. I won't miss this time.
You didn't mean to hit us the first time, did you?
No, both the car and the shotgun were meant to scare you off. But now you've seen us. I'm sorry, but you know too much.
Not really. We could walk out of here and forget the whole thing. It was dark in here until you turned on the lights. Let's pretend they never came on.
No, young man. This is the end of the road.
Tommy, murder wasn't part of the bargain.
Neither was hiring Fenton Hardy. If he wasn't snooping around, none of this would have happened.
We still don't know anything.
On the contrary, Joe. We know everything.
What?
We know why Tommy faked that disappearance and how.
We do?
Remember that panel we discovered? Tommy put on a coat over his uniform which was hidden there and slipped out during the commotion on the ice during the game. No one watches the booth. The game is much more exciting.
But what about the skates? How did he walk?
Remember what caused the fight during the game? Our friend Tommy tripped over one of the players. His blade slipped. He was able to remove the edges from his boots and walk into the crowd.
You're too smart for your own good, kid.
But why, Tommy? You're a star. Why ruin all that?
Usual reason, Frank. Money. It has to be.
I wanted to dissolve the Raider franchise. Even with Tommy, we were not drawing the crowds. I had received a down payment from a group of men who wanted to purchase the arena when the Raiders started winning. Who thought they would make the playoffs? I had already spent the money. The only way to get rid of the team was for them to lose.
And without Tommy, they would.
How much money was in it for Tommy?
A trade to the league's top team and the highest salary in history. I'm still going to get it.
Joe, that valve by the refrigeration pipe.
I see it.
Now is the time to end the reign of the detective wizard.
No, Leclerc. I can't let you do it.
Now, Joe, the valve!
Look at Leclerc. He's stiff as a board.
That gas refrigerant must have frozen our friend.
Frank, Joe, are you hurt?
We're fine, Dad. Though I think Tommy needs to be thawed out, and our man Lucas has a lot of explaining to do.
How did you find us?
I called the house to tell you we didn't find Lucas at home. When you didn't answer, well, I just assumed you were following leads.
I'm glad this one is over. I think it'll be a long time before Tommy Leclerc plays hockey again.
I don't think so, Frank. How about the prison teams?
He'll be a long-time all-star.